Om. 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 Sai Ishwaraya Vidmahe Sathya Devaya Dhimahi Tanna Sarva Prachodayat. Om Sai Ishwaraya Vidmahe Satya Devaya Dhimahi Tanna Sarva Prachodayat. Om Sai Ishwaraya Vidmahe Satya Devaya Dhimahi Tanna Sarva Prachodayat. Om. Sai Ram and Aradhana, greetings to everyone, and we are very, very fortunate to have Mallikeswaran sir again with us this week as well. And for the benefit of those who might not have attended last week, Cutout Baba is still lingering in the back of my head. The conversations with Cutout Baba, it works wonders with the Balvikas children when we tell them the stories. So the Cutout Baba incident is still reminiscing in my mind. But for those who have joined in today, I'm requesting Hero Anna to introduce our speaker for today.
Hey, Sairam, everybody. Thanks for joining this in this part 2 of Mallikeswaran's talk. I have actually known Mallikeswaran from I think my PUC self. Mallikeswaran, is it from PUC or from a degree?
You're muted, sir. You're muted. Unmute.
Mallikeswaran, you can hear me, no?
Yeah, he can hear you.
Yeah.
No,
Mallikeswaran, we've actually been together from PUC or from
PUC.
Yeah. so pre-university. So we've actually we go a long way. We actually came into contact with each other from Brindavan, and that was the time when the university in Puttaparthi was not there, and then we actually started. Swami had actually started the Brindavan College just a few years before we joined the university. So that was the time when Swami actually had his full put in his full might against building up the educational system that he wanted to implement for mankind, right? So that was the time also when Swami actually gave a lot of his time and effort into grooming all the students that had come in. So there was a lot of interaction between Swami and all. And one of the things which I noticed between when Mallikeswaran in Mallikeswaran during this time was that he was a very, very devoted, and he always sought out ways by which he could please Swami. He always sought out ways by which he could actually build up that rapport with Swami. So there was this always intense yearning or intense urge to be very close to Swami, and Swami also gave him that amount of attention as well as that amount of love, so that that whatever he had in his heart could be realized. That's one thing. The second thing is I also noticed one more thing. Mallikeswaran was also part of the group which actually did a lot of work inside the old bungalow. In fact, he built up all the cleaning and all before Swami came down for darshan and all. He was part of that group, and in fact, he led that group for doing the cleaning for Swami for that whole old bungalow. And old bungalow was the bungalow where a lot of our very, very nostalgic memories are there with our interaction with Swami. And he was part of that group which actually maintained that old bungalow. And I also remember that Mallikeshwaran built up a very, very cozy, uh, what we call that puja room, right, in for Swami, in one of the rooms which was there. And then he had a lot of the fourth thing which I noticed was that he had a lot of this that urge for of devotion to Swami, right? He had a lot of that, and then he had tried to pass on that to a lot of us who were there with Swami during that time. A lot of our students. So he had a group of people who were, like all the people who were part of the group which was cleaning up Swami's bungalow. He was also, a lot of them had that intense yearning for Swami. So that was one thing which I noticed during that time. All the other things, of course, Mallikeshwaran would be able to tell you. And then over to you, Mallikeshwaran.
Oh,
Thanks
Sai Ram.
for Sai Ram.
Sai Ram, Sai Ram. Offering my most humble pranams at Swami's lotus feet. Again, offering pranams to all the people, those who are hearing. I have told you the reason already why I wanted to offer my pranams. So it continues. The same thought is there in my mind. My today's talk will be some of our family experience and also of old bungalow experience. At the age of 6, it was in the year 1966, when Swami was in Chennai. My father took me. That time I was 6 years old. And Swami used to stay in a place called Venkatamuni House. Swami's residence was on the first floor, and there used to be a balcony, and Swami used to open the balcony door, first give darshan from there, then again he'll come down, he'll move along with the devotees. My father first didn't believe in Swami. And invariably, in many cases, people hear something bad about Swami, then they come to Swami. The similar type of experience that happened to my father also, who was a great devotee of Lord Subramanya. In Tamil Nadu, Lord Subramanya is the chosen deity for so many people. So what happened, 1 week before Swami could come to Chennai, he started hearing about Swami, all in a negative way. So many people talking about Swami, and invariably wherever he goes, there will be somebody to talk something wrong about Swami. After a week, he was passing through that Avai Shanmugam Salai, where their house, that Venkatamuni house, is situated. He saw quite a few people standing here and there and looking up. As I said, Swami's residence was the first floor. So he started inquiring, why are you all here? They said, Sathya Baba, we'll open the door and then give darshan. So he was, yes, yeah, I heard about, I keep on hearing about him, and here the people are there telling me that he's going to open the window and he's going to give darshan to us. So he thought he'll also wait for some time. He waited. Swami tested him. So after 15-20 minutes, there was a thought in his mind which said, see, so many fools are waiting here. I'm also one of the fools. This Baba is going to open the window and then he's going to give darshan. What nonsense all this. Let me go. As soon as he had thought, all eyes were on the balcony there. Swami opened the window. And as soon as both of them saw each other, of course, from distance, Swami was talking to him, not physically. The word Swami said is Muttal. I think most of the people will be Tamil people, so I'm using the word Muttal. That is the first word Swami told him. Of course, it's a mental conversation, not physical conversation. Do you think that this is the first time that you are coming and seeing me? Of course, you are seeing me for the first time. But I am the one who's saving, protecting, not only you, your forefathers, everyone, and the future generation to come. And the response from my father was only tears from his eyes. It was, that is the impact Swami gives to so many people. He was crying. And Swami closed the window. He came down. He didn't talk to my father at all. Then Swami, my father came home and he was very excited. He took all of us to the darshan the next day itself. My greatest advantage or the greatest blessings, I won't call it as advantage, the greatest blessings what I had from Swami is only this. So the next day, Swami opened the window. My father again was in tears and he told me, hey, Kadavul da, Kadavul. I asked, who is he? Like that was 6-year-old curiosity, He said, Kadavul, God. So at the age of 6, your father is your hero. After 2021, he becomes enemy, that is different. But at the age of 6, at least he's your role model. He is everything for you. So when my father said that he is Kadavul, it went deep inside my heart. And from that day, Bhagawan had become Kadavul for me. Though I told you my incident in the last time about this love. Love will come, it will go. But he is the Kadavul. So that is the impact. That is my first interaction. And the impact was so great that it went deep inside. From that day, no Shiva, no Brahma, no Vishnu, no Kartikeya. Everything is Sai, Sai, Sai. That time, naturally, the olden time, we used to call him Baba. So till I joined as a student in Brindavan, Swami was Baba for me. Then only I got introduced to the beautiful word of Swami, calling him lovingly Swami. So that's what had happened. So it went deep inside. Swami often says that without a sankalpa, no one can come to him. Why no one can think of him also? So my today's talk will mainly hover around these two with two wonderful experiences. One is before I could come to Brindavan. Like last time I told you, I had 3 brothers and 2 sisters, along with me 4 brothers and 2 sisters. So the next trip of Swami, my brothers were there in adolescent age, the usual Chennai boys. So my father, they become highly independent. So my father used to tell, say, Swami has come, go and see, have his darshan. So my second brother, he was about to go for darshan, but his friends called him for a movie. So he went to the movie, he came back. He used to interfere in our affair. He'll advise, but he always wants all the decisions pertaining to us to be taken by us. So he went to a cinema and then he came back. And the Swami, my father asked him, did you have Swami's darshan? He said, no, I didn't have. I had gone for a movie. Then my father said, see, God himself has come on to the earth and he has come to Chennai. He wants to give darshan, you don't want to have. What a poor fate that you are having. Then he also said, I won't blame you because if you have to have his darshan, he has to have his will. You cannot have his darshan unless he wills it. You cannot go to Puttaparthi or any place unless you will it. He wills it. That's what he said. My second brother was a slightly egotic fellow. Immediately went near a photograph of Swami in our house. And then he said to Swami, Swami, Father is telling that without my sankalpa, without your sankalpa, I cannot have your darshan. Now I am challenging you. Shivaratri was, you see, so normally Swami used to come to Chennai in the month of January, and Shivaratri will follow in the month of February or March. So he went and told Swami in the Swami's photograph, my father is telling like this, now there is a challenge from my side to you. It is my will that I wanted to have your darshan on Shivaratri. So I am coming to Bhakti and I am going to have your darshan. He didn't say that my father told me that without your sankalpa, I will not come to Bhakti. He didn't mention about that. But what he said to Swami was, I'll ensure that I'll see you on Shivaratri, because till that time, Swami celebrated Shivaratri always in Puttaparthi. Everyone knew about it. So I am coming for Shivaratri and I am going to have your darshan, and this is my will. Let's see how you are going to put a will so that you will not grant me darshan. That's what he had said. We all came to Puttaparthi that time. Entire family of 4 brothers, 2 sisters, my father, mother, and a few other relatives in a big bus. Normally, during those times, we used to book buses, and all Sai devotees used to come for these 4 important functions. So we reached on a particular day, say 15th of February. I don't remember the date, I'm just telling you. By the time we could reach Puttaparthi, it was 9 o'clock. We all reached 2 days before Shivaratri. 1 day before Shivaratri, we were told that that day morning only Swami left for Brindavan. So it was a shock for us. Normally Shivaratri used to be celebrated only in Puttaparthi, but here we have come and Swami has gone to Brindavan. Then the group leaders all decided that we'll take sometime rest and then go back to Brindavan. So we took rest. We started at about 11 o'clock. That time the roads used to be very bad. So by the time we could reach Brindavan, it was some 6:30, something like that. We heard Swami had left to some other destination, unknown destination. Nobody knew where Swami had gone. See, I'll challenge. It is my will that I will have your darshan on Shivaratri. Somewhere one boy who was about 18 or 19 years old in Chennai, going before the photograph, similar to somewhat like cardboard experience only. That is, he hears each and every word what he speaks. We didn't have darshan. Then he realized that was one of the experience. This is prior to me coming to Brindavan. In Brindavan, I had a wonderful experience about the same thing. If I don't know whether I told you this, one of Swami's friend had come and Swami had told him that unless I think of you, I think I have told. So I'll go to the incident. So my father is a great man. He had some three special qualities in him. The first quality was he was an Agnihotri. I think you all know what Agnihotri means. That is, in Agnihotri's house, the fire will kept blowing and the smoke always fills the entire place of the house. Second thing, he was a close follower of Yudhishthira. You might have heard Yudhishthira, no? Dharmaraja, as we call in Tamil, the eldest of the Pandavas. And third, wherever Ashwamedha Yajna used to be performed, he'll ensure that he'll be there in those things. You might wonder, what is this? Ashwamedha Yajna in Kali Yuga. I'll tell you what it is. My father is Agnihotri. It is nothing but smoking cigarette continuously. About 100 to 150 cigarettes per day he'll smoke. That too, he'll require about only 2 or 3 matchsticks. The first one after he lighting, before it ends, he'll put one more, Other than the timing when he has his food and when he goes for sleep, it is continuous aroma of smoke used to be there all over the house. As I said, it is called Will's Filter Tip King Size. Because I used to go and get those cigarettes for him. It's a bigger version of, there are I think 3-4 sizes are there, but this is the biggest. So 150 cigarettes will be equivalent to almost 200 cigarettes per day, something like that. Close follower of Yudhishthira. What is a close follower of Yudhishthira? You know, Yudhishthira is very fond of gambling. That time they never had cards, but he used to gamble by way of rolling the dice. You may ask, then why are you not comparing your father to Shakuni? First thing, he is my father. I don't want to compare him to Shakuni. Second thing, he is not bad as Shakuni. He is very devoted to Swami, and whatever little devotion that we have today towards Swami, he was instrumental. Of course, it is purely Swami's grace that he had put these holy thoughts in our mind. But my father was an instrument. You know, Indian culture, before a person starts playing violin, he touches the violin and then keeps. Before he drives the car, he touches the car. No, we give that respect. So my father was instrumental in us at least seeing Swami for the first time. And he also often used to say only one word: see, I have not given wealth, but I have shown you God. It is for you to hold him or leave him. I can't do anything. That's what he used to say. So he was the instrumental. So that is the reason why I'm comparing to Yudhishthira. One more reason is he'll always look to lose as Yudhishthira. The third thing is Ashwamedha Yajna. What is this Ashwamedha Yajna? It is nothing but horse racing. No, it used to take place in various states of India. In Chennai, it used to take place. In Ooty, it used to take place. In Bangalore, in Mysore, and some Pune, Mumbai, various places. And wherever it used to be there, either he used to go personally and bet money and then lose. So all these three great qualities he had. You know, the smoking about 100 to 150, my mother tried her level best to ensure that this man, my father, doesn't smoke. But no, he also tried his level best. In fact, I think it is Mark Twain who said, it is very easy to stop smoking cigarette because I have stopped it many times. That's what he had said. So something similar. He tried his level best. In fact, I remember when I was about to join Brindavan, we came by Chennai mail, which starts at about 10:30 at Chennai. So he had taken a oath that night he will not smoke any cigarette. So he had come. That time, normally all the shops in the railway station also will close by 10:30. So that time cigarettes, they used to sell in all the railway stall. Now it is stopped totally. But after 10:30, there will not be any shop also. So he thought by not getting cigarette, he'll ensure that no, he cannot smoke. That's what he had thought. So Swami always says, no, our life is just like a train journey. You meet so many people whom we call relatives, and when our stop comes, we get down and then go. In the similar way, he got hold of one fellow who was a smoker. Both of them became friends in the 10-15 minutes stop. And that fellow went to sleep. He was also smoking, so he went to sleep. But the urge to smoke cigarette was so much. A new acquaintance of 15 minutes, my father opened his bag, took the cigarette, and then finished the entire pack during the night. Next day, he apologized and then paid the money. So that was his craze, and he could not control this habit. So my mother had tried, all his mother had told, but nothing has happened. I think it was during my first year degree, I had just wrote a letter. Luckily for me, that day I was standing alone. Swami was coming from his dining hall to bedroom. We have got various places, so we used to go and stand. Luckily that day, no one was there. I was the one who was standing. Swami came. I just wrote a letter, only stating that Swami, father is smoking a lot of cigarettes. Swami should only bless him so that he stops, because it will spoil his health. I didn't write anything about this Ashwamedha Yajna or close follower of Upadesha. That all I didn't write. Only this line I wrote. I just kept it. I was holding it in the hand. Swami came. He said, "Hey, Mira, what?" Then he saw the letter. He just picked the letter. He read the letter and gave me a nasty stare. I was really worried whether probably Swami didn't like me writing, complaining about my father. But no, we don't have any other source other than him. He didn't talk anything. He just went off. It was about 4:45 or 5 o'clock around that time. 4:45. That's all. Then evening, everything became normal. Swami spoke something, but not related to this to me. That's all. Next day morning at 6 o'clock, one of our students in the hostel comes and then tells me that your father has come. See, my father is a very meticulous person. For any journey, he'll plan pakka 1 month in advance. Unlike now, no computerized reservation, all you have to go and book your ticket. Unlike now, where there are about 10 trains from Chennai to Bangalore, we had only 3 trains, Brindavan Express, Chennai Mail, and one Chennai passenger. So coming to Bangalore, no, unless until you book your ticket 1 month in advance at any time, any point of time, you will not get a train ticket. My father is such a planner. Well before all that he'll book accommodation, this, that, everything, so that his journey will be comfortable. I never knew. He never told me that he's going to come. And at about 6:30, I saw my father waiting near the hostel entrance. So I go to him. How come you have come here? That's what I said. About what he said is, see, from yesterday 4:45, that is the time when Swami took the letter and he was reading. There was a great urge that I should see Swami. I know I'll not get the ticket. I just took few clothes, came, met a TTR. He said, he'll give me a berth. I came. Oh, I see. See, normally it is mother who, no, if father comes, she'll tell 10-15 days before, she'll ask, what do you want, laddu, booty, there, pant, shirt, so many things, and they normally used to give something to Swami or could be given. Nothing. He came without anything. He was standing there. And that time, the parents were allowed to stand near the entrance of old bungalow. When Swami, there is a gate, they can stand this side of the gate. Swami physically know my father because 4 or 5 times when he had come, I'm sorry to use the word physically, he knows everything. But no, in the physical drama, he acts as if, he does so many things. So having given the letter and seeing my father there, I know that there is something going to happen. Normally, along with the parent, the student also stands. But I decided that I will not go anywhere near my father because I know that he is going to get some sadham. So I was just opposite to him. Swami came out beautifully. He speaks to my father in Tamil. Eppa vandachu, he said, in a very loving tone. Then my father told him, Swami, today morning. Eppa vandachu means, when did you come? Today morning I've come. Then he went 2 steps front and then came back and started blasting my father. See, my message is not only pertain to few things. Each and every second, the way in which he had lived, I think we have to learn. Whenever Swami blasts somebody outside in a public view, the person who is getting that blasting only will know that Swami is blasting him. To him, he'll have a different face, and to somebody else, he'll have a different face. The next fellow, he'll blast one person here, and then beautifully he'll turn his head and then smile at another fellow. And in a very low tone, he was blasting. But I know that something was going on by seeing my father's facial expression. Then Swami said something to him. Swami went for granting darshan in the Sai Ram shed. He gave darshan. He came back. He went inside. Then I went to my father. What did Swami tell you? He said, did you tell anything to Swami? I said, I have not said anything. Why I should tell him that I have told all this thing? I have not said anything. Then I asked him, what did Swami tell? Tell me. Then he said, Swami told me that I should not smoke any cigarette, nor should I play cards, gambling, by betting money, nor should I go for horse racing. He said, if I don't leave these three things, he will not see me, he will not let me see him. He will not talk to me, he will not let me talk to him. Why? The most important sentence. Swami said that he'll ensure that my father will not think about him. That's the most underlined statement that should come into our mind. So if we are telling that we are thinking of Swami today, Swami has willed it. If I say to you, say, Hirok is there in the screen, Hirok, I'll ensure that you don't think of me. Another half an hour at least he'll be thinking, that fool is telling that I can't think of him. What is it? But Swami's words are very powerful. Then my father said, see, when you go inside early, Swami will talk to you. Tell Swami that I can leave other two habits, that is going to Ashwamedha, horse racing and also playing cards. That I can leave it. But cigarette smoking, I really cannot do because I've tried so many times. And pray to Swami that Swami only should give energy to me. That's the word he used, energy to me. So I went inside. Luckily for both of us, Swami called, Emra mi nana em jittar. What did your father tell you? And I told him, Swami, he said that Swami should only give him energy to stop the smoking habit. Very, very, very casual. He didn't say, I am the Lord of the universe. I am giving him so much power. He'll not smoke. No, no such words. He said, Pora po atam bomani. Very casually. Two friends, when they talk, who, like the Pora, be, so many things we say, no? In a similar way, he said, Pora po atam bomani. This is the only word. Very, 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 very casual. And then he went up. When he went up, I came out. I saw my father sitting in one place, crying profusely. I knew that immediately after darshan, he would have gone outside, he would have smoked one cigarette. No, that feeling that he didn't obey Swami's command would have been in his heart, so he started crying. That's what I was thinking. See, the usual habit of any smokers who come to have Swami's darshan, see, you cannot predict how long it will take. It may take 1 hour, it may take 2 hours, because you have to wait. Swami, unlike Puttaparthi, might come from 7:30 to 10 anytime to grant darshan. Normally, he comes by 8:30 to 9:30, but you can't predict. So the people have to wait from 7 o'clock. Suddenly, he'll come at 7 also. Then you will miss. So the gap will be almost 2 hours or 3 hours for the smokers. This period, they cannot smoke. So my father's habit used to be, whenever he comes to Brindavan, as soon as Swami turns his back, he'll rush outside, go to a shop, smoke cigarette. Then only he'll come and talk to us also. Like that it used to be. Here, after 3.5 hours, when I saw him crying, so the first thought that had come to my mind was, okay, 18 years, you have been advising me. Now this is my chance to advise you. So I go near him and then say, Father, don't worry, I know you have smoked a cigarette. It is very difficult. You have been smoking 150 cigarettes. Step by step, you reduce. Swami will understand. No, you become very wise whenever you want to give advice. That to Father, it is a great opportunity for you to advise your father. He said, shut up. That's what my father said. What did Swami tell you? He was crying. My father was a very egotic person. He'll never cry. I know he's I won't say egotic person, he's a very stable person. Very stable. And he's never moved with any emotion, all those things. But that was the first time in my life I saw him crying. Tears flowing from his eyes. For 18 years, I've never seen him showing any emotion. But here, unabatedly was crying like anything. So I go to him, no, tell me what happened. He said, no, tell me. Tell what Swami told. I said, Pora po atam bomani. And I was cursing myself. Now, this man is going to smoke. And whenever I get my share of prasadam from Swami, that is, whenever he scolds me, he'll tell you, your father is like this, you are like this, nobody is good in your family. All that he'll tell. Why did they write this things to Swami? That's what I was cursing myself. But at the same time, I was telling my father, don't worry, again I'll request, pray to Swami. Then keep quiet. After I told that Swami had said, Pora po atom bomb energy, he started crying more and more. I said, what's wrong with you? Yeah, engaged also. Because now think of other thing. You fool, you don't understand Swami's words. Each and every small word what he utters has got immense meaning. He said casual, very casual remarks of Porapo Atabhamaji. See, Swami describes the Lord, Vedas and Upanishads, Anoranyan Mahato Mahyan. He is the smallest of smallest than an atom and bigger than the biggest of all the things. That's what we hear. Mahato Mahyan. Anoranyan. Anu means atom. So when he said Porapo atom bomb energy, that's what he had said. I am giving my energy to him so that he will not smoke any cigarette. What had happened outside was only this. He had gone outside. I know Swami tests you nicely. Instead of 5 or 6 people smoking, about 20, 30 smoking. So the urge to smoke, oh my God, was great. But at the same time, Swami had told him that he should not smoke. So immediately one brain wave hit his mind and then he had said, see, Swami told me that I should not smoke cigarette, but I can always be a passive smoker. So he goes near a person who was smoking. And it is very easy to introduce yourself to Sai devotees. Sai Ram, sir, I'm coming from Chennai and where are you? All that. That fellow was smoking and puffing. And when he started the conversation with the hope that when that fellow exhales, he'll inhale the smoke. That's what he had thought. So he was waiting eagerly. And that fellow started speaking to him without exhaling. Woman will go again, Swami, please ensure that this fellow exhales. That's what he praised to Swami. As far as nobody either good or bad, we have to ask him only, no. And he'll respond to everything and he'll make the bad good. That's what he does for us, for all the devotees. So he was eagerly waiting for the fellow to blow out so that he can take the smoke inside. Believe me, a person who had smoked 150 king-size cigarettes per day was waiting eagerly for the other fellow to blow out so that he can inhale. Swami tested him for a minute or two and that fellow blew out. From that second, my father just could not bear the smell of tobacco coming out. That's it. He ran away from that place because it was so bad. A fellow who was smoking, inhaling 150 cigarettes till the previous day, could not bear the same cigarette smell. He ran away from that place. He came and he was crying. Casual word of atom bomb energy, Swami's own energy. Till is that he died in Parthi only. He was settled in Parthi. We burnt him in Chitravati only. Till that moment, if anybody could have come near him with cigarette, with folded hand, used to request him, sir, please don't smoke here. I am allergic to that smell. Why don't you go some other place? It was in 1976. I think he died in 2009 or something like that. So many years, 25, about 30 years. He never touched one cigarette also. Very casual word. Very, very casual word. Atom bomb energy. Normally in Tamil we say, Oru kallila rendu manga. That is, you throw one stone, you get 2 mangoes. That is a proverb sort of statement. Here, with this experience, Swami had thought so many things. The one thing is, 4:30, I have given a letter, he read the letter, and 4:30, my father had a great urge. Prior to that, he never had an intention of coming immediately to Brindavan to have Swami's darshan. 4:30, the letter was given. Unless I will it, nobody can come either to Prasanthi Nilayam or Brindavan or wherever his physical form was there. 4:30 is here. The very casual remarks that he makes has got great significance. I have experienced this aspect. Very casually, he'll tell something. Immediately, those things may not happen, but after a few years, in some cases, sometime within a day or two, the things will happen and he'll call back. See, I told you, that day, like that he used to say. Normally, it is very difficult to perceive the total divinity because we'll be always the web of Maya around him. Without my Sankalpa, no one can come. Unless I want you to think of me, you cannot think of me. That's what Swami. So in one stone, 3, 4 mangoes, tuck, without the Sankalpa, no one can come. His casual words have got immense potential. And if you are thinking of me, fool, it is not you who's thinking, I am the one who's making you think of it. This is one of the wonderful experience. So compare both. Without a Sankalpa, you can't have darshan, my second brother incident. And with my father's thing, he had said all those things. All these beautiful, beautiful, beautiful incidents that without a sankalpa, nothing can happen. This is regarding my father. And till the last breath of my father, he never smoked any cigarette. Now you can see this ring. See, Swami, as I said, no, it's not necessary for you to go and you have to tell him physically, then only things will happen. It is not that. Towards the end of his, maybe some 10-15 days before he could pass away, this ring was given to my father about 20, 25 years or 30 years back when he was in Patti. Swami had created this ring and then he had given. And he himself had put this ring. Of course, there was Swami's picture in this, which is not there now, it got broken. So Swami had put this ring in his ring finger. He took his right hand and then he had put it. 15 days before his death, one day when he got up in the morning, he was not well. He had fallen down. So he was admitted in super specialty. So some meat, some plates were put in. Other than that, otherwise he is perfect. Because he had fallen down, he had some problem. It was 20th April when he had fallen down. Incidentally, it was my birthday. So he died in the month of June 13th. In fact, 1 or 2 years before only he told many people in Patti that you will not see him after June 13th next year. That's what he had told, I believe. Coming back to the story, this was the ring. So Swami had put this ring in his finger. And one day he got up, 15 days before his death, he got up and he saw partial paralysis attacking this finger of his. The same finger in which the ring was put. My father really evolved so. So as soon as he saw that no, this finger was not working, he just sent a silent prayer to Swami, telling that, Swami, I think it is partial paralysis. I'm not worried that this partial paralysis has affected me, because I take everything as your blessings. You have willed it, it had happened. But my only one concern or only one thing that is bothering me is I have 10 fingers. But the finger what you have touched and you have put the ring, it had become numb. It is affected by the partial paralysis. I am not able to do anything with that finger. My only worry is the finger touched by the God should not be like this. If it is any other finger, it's fine. That is the only thing I am feeling bad, Swami. But I know that whatever you do, it is good for us. As soon as he had thought in the house, Swami was in Prasanthi Nilayam Mandir, he was down. As soon as he had thought this word, this finger, that is index finger, got affected by partial paralysis, and this finger became perfectly normal. Perfectly normal. The next second, Om Sri Sai Sulabha Prasannaya Namaha. You just tell, he'll do it. His intention was good. Intention was good. And as soon as he had said this, Swami, why this finger? This finger became all right and this had fallen down. That is Swami. Do we have to write letter to him? Yes, we have to write letter to him because he had built it so that we can touch his fingers. We can have his namaskar, like what I told last time. Do we need to go and tell everything to him? Yes. You tell, he'll take care. He'll take care always. Something may not happen immediately. That doesn't mean that he's not taking care of us. He knows that you can stand up against that. Swami always says this karma aspect, he'll never change. See, if you read Lalita Sahasranama, I am fond of reading Lalita Sahasranama, not in Sanskrit. What I used to read is Trivevadivana Thaye Namaskaram, Uppuyarvata Lokarake Namaha, Siranda Simhasanathil Ezhthirukkum Ishwariye Namaha. I like that. 1008 namas when you chant, your mind goes very closer to Swami and you can see the comparison of each and every word other than explaining the beauty of the goddesses, all attributes. You see, it will be, it was meant for Swami. It is meant for Swami, like that. When I say that he can remove the karma, he normally doesn't do that. If you go to Lalita Sahasranama, there is a wonderful word. Than ஏற்படுத்திய நியதியின் வரம்பை மீறாதவள். Meaning is, whatever as law she has set for the humans, she will not deviate from those laws. That is one. Second thing, immediately, எதற்கும் கட்டுப்படாதவள். அவள் ஏற்படுத்திய நியதிக்கும் கட்டுப்படாதவள். That is, though she had created laws, she is beyond and she is not bound by the law. That comes out of love. I told you, I think last time, the most wonderful experience of a boy getting chicken pox, Swami directly going near him and telling, my love doesn't know that he's having chicken pox. So this karma thing. If we have to suffer. But again, his karma was not to have this finger working, but Swami, abundantly changed. But again, bound by the law of karma, he had put this. You may ask why this itself he could have cured. He could have cured. He doesn't want to cure. That's all. It is left to him. Why we should bother? So that is the thing. So this is how, when you pray to Swami, the experience what he gives is not only pertaining to that particular case, but he teaches you so many things. This is one of the glorious experience through Father I had. Swami often says, my life is my message. I told you, always he is very particular. Even when he scolds somebody, he'll ensure that nobody else hear about them. I wanted to ask you one thing. Did you see Swami getting angry anytime? Does Swami get angry? Swami always says, you should never get angry because it boils your blood, it kills you, it destroys you. But Swami, does he get angry? Yes, he gets angry. But there is a difference between Swami's anger and our anger. I just narrate this with an experience. My father had come to Brindavan once, and my mother had sent a pickle bottle to be given to Swami. During 70s, we never used to have the PET bottles. It used to be only the Horlicks bottles in which we used to put these pickles and that glass bottles, literally. So I was having the pickle bottle and then standing near the staircase. Swami normally, I said, no, first floor is Swami's residence. So he'll come down, he'll come to a veranda to give darshan. There used to be a door which we used to close. And when Swami comes, the last step, we used to open the door so that Swami can go out. So Swami was coming down the steps. I was holding the pickle bottle in my hand. And there was one more boy. I'll tell you his name. His name is Murthy. But he was fondly called as Dharmaraja. That is Yudhishthira, as he, Yamadharmaraja. He had depicted the character of Yamadharmaraja in one of the dramas. Swami always was very fond of taking out a lot of mythological stories. And he'll ask the boys to enact. So this boy acted as Dharmaraja, Yamadharmaraja. So Swami used to call him Dharmaraju. His name was Murthy, but Swami used to call him Dharmaraju. So we all used to call him as Dharmaraju. He was standing there. Those of you who are familiar with any games, you use the word form and out of form. It is the same with Brindavan boys also, even Parthi boys. When Swami talks to you daily, when Swami shows a lot of concern to you, you are in form. And suddenly all the things will be withdrawn one day. He'll not look at your face. He'll neglect you totally. You become out of form. For obvious reasons. Suddenly, without any reason, that period will start. And believe me, that is the most horrible phase of your life. But it gives a lot of character change, so that now you crave for him more. All those things he takes care. So this Dharmaraju who was standing, he was in tears actually, because he was out of form. That time I was in good form. So I know Swami will come, he'll send it up all that. So Swami was coming, it is a spiral step. He was coming down, and as soon as he saw me, his face blew like that. As if, that is the way he pretends. He's such a wonderful actor. He pretends sometimes he'll give a feeling to the devotee who's standing next to him that the purpose of his avatarhood is only for this sake, for that individual sake. That is the amount of love he'll shower. So he saw me, his face bloomed. Amma pampichinda, paiki pampichu. Oh, your mother had sent in Telugu, he said, Amma pampichinda, your mother has sent, no, send it up. Send it to the dining hall. And he saw this Murthy standing next to me, the Dharmaraju, that boy, started blasting with full anger. Swami is giving me so much, and you're doing like this. No. And that too, when Swami gets angry, the full flow of Rayalaseema Telugu language will flow like anything in the other way. So he came down, he'll blast him for one step. The next step, when he comes down, he'll tell me, then here, then Swami came. That fellow went and caught one of Swami's feet, this Dharmaraj. Swami just pulled his hair, slapped him, literally slapped him. So much anger, he could see Swami's face becoming red and he was slightly stammering. See, when you get extreme anger, whatever whatever things that you show, all those things Swami was acting and he was showing. And in the meantime, he'll turn his head with full smile. Here he'll blast. I think most of you know something about that Kuttu Parota we call in Tamil. What they do, they put onion and tomatoes, and then they put the paratha, and then keep chopping like this. Taka, 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 taka. Like that, literally, Swami was blasting that fellow, abusing him literally. And 1 minute he'll blast him, he'll turn. Next second, this went on for 3 or 4 minutes. I think probably that was the only day when I prayed, Swami, please go out. Because I was, I was shaking. And I had the glass bottle of pickle, which may fall anytime from my loose hand. And for that, I may also get some prasadam, which I didn't want to. There is this anger prasadam. Went on like this. Then Swami just pushed him. He slapped that boy out. See, that is the greatest opportunity which Swami gave to his students. With students, he used to beat them, used to correct them in all ways. He's a mother, he's father, he's everything. So he just pushed that fellow. Then I was waiting for Swami to go out. I opened the door. Then there was a devotee, I think his name is Gopal. He was a new devotee. As soon as Swami said, Gopal, kabhi aaya. No trace of anger. Here also, no trace of anger. Whenever he talks to me, no trace of anger. Whenever he talked to that fellow, full of anger. All these things were happening, 1 minute, half a minute, 1 minute, half a minute, like that. Imagine if I get angry, what will happen? What will happen to me? I used to work in a lot of multi-organization. So when something not useful for the organization takes place, I will blast my people, the subordinates. And what will be the reaction when once I tell them out? If my superior comes, I become, no, what is this? These fellows are doing like this. No, I'll be the same mood. And if some other subordinate comes, something of that prasadam will go. And when I go home, the remaining prasadam will be shared wife and children. Here Swami blasting one moment and smiling. Amma Bupichinda Paiki Pumpichu. Kabiyaya Gopal. All these things were happening in a matter of 2-3 minutes. Now we'll come back to Puttaparthi. Swami goes to super speciality to give a talk to doctors, and for 1 hour it was literal prasadam to all the doctors. Which prasadam? Swami said he was not happy with them. He literally, abused all the doctors of all the things. This is what you are doing. Whereas the purpose of opening hospital is like all that Swami said. 1 hour it went, and there was a pin drop silence. And after he completed the speech, he asked one of the doctors to see his blood pressure. It was real anger. You can see Swami. Swami was upset and he was shouting at them. And when the blood pressure was taken, it was 120/80. Then Swami told them, see, you all will be wondering that Swami says that you should never get angry, and Swami had passed it for past 1 hour with full anger. But there is a difference between your anger and my anger. See, whenever you get angry, what happens? Your blood boils, your blood pressure goes up. You are all doctors, you know about it very well. All these things are happening. Whereas I shouted at you for 1 hour, but my blood pressure is only 120/80. You know the reason? Whenever you get angry, you get anger from your heart. But whenever I get angry, I get anger, or I pretend as if I'm angry, because my anger comes out only from the tip of my tongue. I don't have anything inside. In spite of me being avatar, if I only show love, and without anger, if I don't pretend as if I'm having anger, in spite of me being avatar, you will eat me. That is the reason why sometimes I do this. Just imagine, will it be possible for you to shout at one person, then next immediately turn your face and then smile and then say, hey, Amma Pumpichinda Paiki Pumpichu. Will it be possible for you to tell? Or a joke? When you are angry, can you joke with somebody? You cannot do. So there is a difference between our anger and Swami's anger. Our anger comes from the heart. So in case if it is possible for us to practice our anger from the tip of the tongue, I think we'll achieve so many things. But I think it is exclusively meant for God and not for human being. Since Swami says we are all God, I think one day we can get that stage of. This is another example to show. Like this only, so many things Swami will do to teach us. Immediately we may not understand. But as the time goes, surely we'll understand. Now, one doubt which normally comes to the people, those who are around him. All this protection, saving, is it only when you are physically close to him? When you leave him, does his grace also leave you? I'll narrate 2 experiences of mine. After I left Swami, in 1986. I have two sons. One is Sai Uddhav and another fellow Sai Parikshit. I named my first son as Sai Uddhav because this Uddhava is one of the greatest character in Bhagavatam, along with Krishna, and he was the only one to realize the Krishna's divinity from the first time he had seen Krishna. No Yadavas believed in him. No Yadavas believed in Krishna. Whereas Uddhav knew. Even Akrura, who was supposed to be a jnani, many a times he had this flattering devotion. Whereas Uddhava's devotion was unflinched. Always he used to think of Lord Krishna as great Mahavishnu's incarnation. And whatever Krishna used to say, no question asked, he'll obey. Like we have one great soul, Rama Brahman. Hirak also will agree with me. Such a nice thing, something like him. So Uddhava was such a great character, always thought about Krishna. So I wanted my son also to think of Swami always. So I named him Sai Uddhav. I was in Chennai, then I was transferred to Hyderabad. 11th standard entrance examination was written by Uddhav. That time I was in Hyderabad. When he had written the examination, I had also come to Patti. As I said, my father settled permanently in Patti at that time. So we were all staying in father's house. I was working for Cadbury, Cadbury chocolates. I was area manager. That time the internet facilities were not available in our houses. Also, I had to go to a browsing center to send some important mails. So I had gone to send a mail. When I was coming out, one of the auto driver, they said, see, someone in your house got electrocuted. So they have taken him to GH. So I ran, found out that it was my first son who was playing cricket. The fellow who had written the entrance examination, he had cleared. The next day interview also he cleared. We were waiting for the result. So while playing cricket at that time, all the wires, the electrical wire used to be at a very low level. Now only they've raised. After this incident, only they increased. So by mistake, he had thought that 240 watts electricity and the current passed through him, he fell down. That too, another disadvantage what he had was that house was under the construction. So though there was a first floor terrace, there were a lot of iron rods coming out from the beam, which is it is half constructed house. So when he fell down, unfortunately, his body fell on the iron rod and that also went inside. The current went off. So this fellow was pierced with all those things. I didn't know. So we took him to GH. My mother and my wife had taken him to GH. My wife didn't go. She said he is dead because he was just like a dead body was when he was taken to the hospital. There the doctors did the first aid all. So having come to know that he's in the hospital, I had gone. I spoke to the doctor. He said, no, see, we cannot do anything here. Chances are very less for the survival. Immediately, you have to take him to Bangalore because we don't have that much facility here. That's what they said. Incidentally, my cousin, my mother's sister's own son, was the dean of Ramaya Hospital, Bangalore. So we just informed him that we are bringing him. So we went. Immediately, they took him inside. They took the necessary signature because it was 76% burnt in his body. That is from abdomen to head. Totally everything was burnt off. You could see the skin peeled out. No, it was a horrible sight to look at. Swami Prasadam, what you can do? I was just telling Swami only one thing. By seeing the condition, Swami, if all these things can be good, let him live. Otherwise, you take him, Swami. As a father, even I had my own feeling. It's your wish, Swami. That is a prayer. We went to Bangalore. That fellow was taken to ICU immediately. Being dean of the hospital, my brother had gone. He came out and then said, sorry to tell you, he will not survive. He will not survive, especially with electric shock. Heart attack might happen within 72 hours anytime. So unless and until 3 days passes, we will not be in a position to do anything. We will not be in a position to see because so much damage, he is prone to infection. So you have to wait in the hospital, hope for the best. He was a great devotee of Lord Ayyappa. Every year he goes to Shabarimala. He doesn't believe in Swami that much. Then he told me, see, you believe Satya Sai Baba, you pray to him. I'll pray to my Ayyappa. That is the only thing we can do. But chances of him surviving this shock was absolutely no chance. That's what he said. First day went. Dean only can go. We didn't see our son. Second day, third day, all the 3 days, the only thing what used to come and tell is always used to be a negative report that he's not going to survive. His condition is bad. Be prepared. Be prepared. That's what he used to say. After 3 days, there was a slight improvement. So he says, see, there is a small hope, but we have to amputate his left hand because he held the electric wire with his left hand. He held the electric wire with the left hand. So the current passed through this and it had damaged all the veins and other things of his left hand. My son, incidentally, was a very good basketball player. He's a left-hand bowler in cricket. In fact, he was the group captain for his volleyball team and cricket team later in Parthi. He said, we have to amputate his left hand. I think he'll survive this. We'll give that, although I was literally telling Swami, if that is the thing, okay, fine. At least he's okay, he'll live. But please ensure that scars, because it will create a psychological effect when he sees himself in a mirror. So Swami should only help him. After 3 days, my son wanted to see his mother. See, Swami arranges so many things. At that time, I was in a financial doldrum. One fellow cheated me to the tune of 10 lakhs. At that time, 1986, or not 86, 1996 or 97, 96. 10 lakhs is a huge amount in India. So literally, I was penniless. I have to sell even my wife's Mangala Sutra to cover all the expenses. So I was in financial doldrum, but Swami was ensuring that I eat perfectly and my family had also good food. That time I was in Bangalore, my family was in Hyderabad. We met in Parthi for his entrance examination. The day when we were about to see our son, that is also because we are Dean's brother. My boss from Mumbai had come. Having come to know that my son had undergone all this trouble, he had come to the hospital just to inquire. So I was just telling him, see, we have not seen him for 3 days. I did not know what I'm going to do. That's what I was telling. My brother comes and then says, he wants to see you. So you just see him from far. He can see you. You can see him. He can see you. But don't go too near. As a dean, I'm permitting. Because he wanted to see us. Because 3 days over, he had not seen his mother and father. So my boss asked me whether he can also come. So I requested my brother to allow my boss. He was working in Mumbai. So all three, first time we are seeing our son after 3 days of this incident, after this electrocution. When we saw his full body full of patches, because all skin were burnt, and within 3 days the skin was not going to heal. So they put a lot of cream. It was a horrible sight. It was a horrible sight. There are some sights when you see, you just don't turn your face again and then see the same thing. So bad, it was very horrible. Then he could not speak because his neck was like this. He used to shake, he's a good dancer. He used to shake his head, His Bharatanatyam, all they shake their head like that. Although he used to do all those things, his condition was like this. He cannot move his head because all this skin is stuck with each other. Neck skin and the thing from the chest. And full body was burnt, and there was a huge wound in his left hand. And lot of patches. Like that, he fell on the 9 rods, that he had fallen in the 9 rods, and that had the skin by itself, it was very soft because question burning and skin going inside, rusted, infection. It was a horrible sight. So when I came out, my boss started praying. I said, hey, why are you not crying? He said, why should I cry? For me, Swami is there. If that is his karma, he has to suffer. No other go. We can only pray so that he will not suffer. That too, whether he's after our prayer also, if he suffers, what we can do? We cannot do anything. That's what I was telling. He said, what will be the expense? I said, roughly maybe about 3. We have that health insurance cover for 1 lakh. Another 2.5 lakhs or 3 lakhs. We thought it would be about 4 to 5 lakhs because of Dean's brother, about 30% discount they gave. So the total cost came to about 3.2 lakhs. That time we didn't know how much it will be. So my boss said, see, I know you are having only 1 lakh cover. He never knew anything about my financial situation, that somebody cheated me, all those things. It's personal level. So I didn't tell him. But I'll ensure that you get each and every single pie that you spend on you and on your son during your stay. So he had gone to Mumbai after seeing my son. See the timing. See the timing. Of course, arranging money is not a problem. I could have asked my brothers or somebody else will pay my father-in-law. That's what they always say, you cannot select your father and mother, but you can always select a wealthy father-in-law. That is in your hand. Luckily for me, my father-in-law was quite a wealthy person. So arranging money is not a problem, but I have to repay back, whether it is my brothers or my father-in-law, and it is going to be very difficult for me because with whatever resources, I used to get a good salary, but that will go towards the loan itself. And I have one setting in Bangalore, because where I was staying, my people are there in Hyderabad. There is wife and two children. So I have to manage it. Surely it would have created a lot of mental tension. But here Swami is sending him the day when we saw our son, that in a very bad condition, and then promising me that each and every pie of whatever we spend will be reimbursed, which had never happened in any multinational organization. But my boss was confident because he's the boss. Boss can do anything. So he had gone. 10 days he was in ICU only. Then 11th day they brought him outside. The hole still you can see. The patches you can see. His neck was tied like this. And the doctor said, tomorrow or day after tomorrow, first we'll do the plastic surgery for all the holes that had happened. And he had fallen in such a way that head also, one rod went. Here, chest. There were totally 9 places. And doctor used to select 3 places to do plastic surgery the next day. They'll say these 3 places we are doing because we cannot do the same thing on. It takes time. So 3 places we'll do. Next 3 days we'll do. Let it heal. So slowly he's going to be there in the hospital for a month unless he gets cured totally. So the first 3 places what they selected, the next day when they were about to take him to the operation theatre, believe me or not, all the 3 wounds healed by itself. Like that, all 9 spots, wherever they wanted to perform, it would have made maybe another few lakhs more for me. All the places got cured by itself. And his neck started slowly releasing. But amputing his left hand is a must. Even after coming from ICU, doctor said, they said, surely it is going to happen. We'll do it in a couple of days. Till then, we'll try to do some physiotherapy for his hand, just to see whether anything will happen. Swami's grace, he responded to the physiotherapy very well. And after a couple of days, the doctor said, there is no need to do amputation. He'll survive that. A person whom the doctors were very confident that his left hand should be amputated is telling me that I think we can delay, we'll try to do physiotherapy. The most glorious part of this incident happened the next year. You know, in Puttaparthi or in Brindavan, normally the college will open in the month of June. If you are not present on the 1st June, that's all. Your seat is gone, especially for the new students. I said that year only had written. Believe me, they gave 3 months. He was staying in the home and going to the college because he cannot stay in hospital. 3 months, continuously 3 months. That's what had happened in his life. As I said, the most unforgettable thing that had happened was the next year when we took him for a review, the same doctor. The doctor checked his right hand, the doctor checked his left hand. He went on checking. The only word, what he said at that moment only made me emotional. What he said is, his left hand is more powerful than his right hand. For a person whose arm, whose left hand to be amputated, after 1 year, the doctor says his left hand is more powerful. Then he went on to become, as I said, the captain for volleyball. He was the captain for the cricket team. He continued to bowl in his left hand. All these things happened at the same time. How you see Swami doing all these things? The day when I went to the Ramaya hospital, when my son was in the hospital, I gave a ring to my father because my second son, his name is Sai Krishna. I'll tell you why he was named Sai Krishna. He was a witness to all this incident. So initially, because of this disaster, we totally forgot about him. So when we were sitting outside, when we cannot have any interaction with our first son, our thought went to the second son. So I just wanted to ensure and then tell him, because both of them are only playing. So his full body shaking, that fellow falling, and people there telling that this fellow is dead already. All these things surely would have affected. That time he was about 11 or 12 years old. So I just thought I'll talk to him. Because both mother and father is not with him, only grandfather is there because my mother also had come. So my father, though he's a great man, he doesn't know how to move with children. In fact, we always used to make a fun of, Father, did you give one kiss to us? Have you fondled us one time? He doesn't know all those things. His love is in a totally different way. So we were worried about him. Just I called him. That time we never had that tracking device. Unlike today, mobile phone, whenever you get a call, you know the person who's speaking to you. So at about 8 o'clock in the night, when we called him, my second son only picked the phone. The first word he said, Appa, Annan kedu agad, Anna kedu agad. He didn't even know that I am the one who's talking to him, but he picks the phone and then tells, Father, nothing will happen to the Anna. Because when he was getting electrocuted, I saw orange color, like Swami's robe, enveloping him totally. So be sure that nothing will happen. It is coming from an 11-year-old boy. That time only I knew that Swami is taking care. Went on, and my sister's son was studying in Brindavan. It happened at around 11:30. And when the incident was happening, Swami was in Ramesh Hall, I believe. He saw a transformer suddenly, and the transformer bursted. So he immediately calls and then tells me, see, nothing will happen to Uddhav. Because at the same time, I saw Swami looking at the transformer, and transformer got bursted. See how Swami gives confidence. And ultimately, his left hand is more powerful than his right hand. That's how Swami saves you. The time I was not physically close to Swami, I left Swami on my own, went out. Swami always says, however you are, whatever you are mine. I'll never. So you need not be only physically close to him to save yourself. He'll always, but his love is unconditional. No reason for love, no season for love. Love, love. After I left Swami, only it happened. Now I have told you about Sai Uddhav. Now let's come to Sai Parikshit. We had a son already, so we were hoping that we'll have a daughter, the second one. At the almost 7th month of her pregnancy, my wife cleaned the toilet with bleaching powder, and the fumes attacked her, and she was in ICU for 4 days at the 7th month of pregnancy, between 6th and 7th month of pregnancy. And I believe during pregnancy, you are not supposed to take any antibiotics. The doctor came and told, see, unless until give severe antibiotic doses to your wife, she will not survive. Because she could not breathe. The fumes had attacked her. She is in ICU again. So what should we do? I said, go ahead. Then they said, if we give antibiotic, you will have, your child will have some deformity. Either it can be mental deformity or physical deformity. Later, you should not blame us. I said, can't you do anything without giving antibiotic? No, she'll die. I said, okay, you have to save her first. Go ahead, we'll pray. Then I prayed, Lord, it's your wish, whatever you want, you do. That's all. So after 4 days, she was brought out from the ICU. The doctor was, normally for 1 year, we go to the same doctor, the gynecologist. So the doctor said, after 1 month, we'll take a scan just to see how the baby is. And I also asked the doctor, can't we abort the child? So that, see, you don't want a deformed child. Of course, if God gives, he knows that parents are strong enough. That is the reason why he gives, and God of reason for that, which we will not know. But this is the situation. I said, okay, if it is your will, if that is your will, so be it. That's what I said. The next month, we took her for a scan. We got a scan. The doctor said, everything seems to be normal, nothing to worry. That's what she said. And we came back home. That time, Buddha was about 3.5 years old, the elder son. He wanted to see his brother in the scan. A small boy's curiosity, 3.5 years or 4 years. So he started seeing, like they said, this is my brother's scan. He's there in Amma's room, all that he was telling. Then suddenly he started shouting, Appa, Swami, Swami, Swami. I thought maybe, I don't know. So he called, Appa, Kamikirampa, I'll show you. Come. And what did we see? See, the scan will have 6 photographs, 3 in 2 scans. So the one scan, what he was holding and then seeing, he was very excited. That type of excitement I have not seen. So I go, show me, Swami, I said. So he shows, believe me or not, that scan is still with me. Swami was holding the baby. You could see Swami's form very clearly. It's a negative only. You know the scan, how it is. Swami was holding one baby. You can see the baby's thing. And Swami's outline, the beautiful hair, the full form of Swami, holding a baby like this. If possible, I think I have a photograph of that. Most of the people, those who have seen, to some, it is not visible. But most of the people whom they have seen, in fact, the Vedanarayan, you all know, his brother is also a gynecologist in state. When he wanted to see, when I showed him, he said it is only Swami's grace. Of course, I don't require anybody else to support that. For me, it is Swami. It's simple. Swami was holding like that. The baby was held in his arm like this. From that moment, I know that nothing wrong is going to happen to this fellow. And he was overweight, normal delivery when it had happened. Pakka. He was pakka. Now he's 27 years old, settled in Bangalore. Both my sons did their MBA here only. My wife always often used to tell, see, I'm also a mother to Swami because Swami was in my womb for. See, that is a satisfaction that he had given to my wife. Both sons, if they are living here today, it is because of the exceptional grace of Bhagwan. One more incident which I have never shared with anybody, I think I'll share that also with you. It's pertaining to me personally. Again, to reinstate that without his sankalpa, no one can come to him. It is all his plan, his will, that we are physically close to him, we are away from him, but still thinking of him. All these things happen because of his will only, and everything is predetermined. And he can break anything. That's what he had done in my life also. I have seen so many boys leaving Swami after getting so many chances in Brindavan and in Puttaparthi also. So I had this fear that one day it will happen to me also. So my only prayer to Swami constantly was that I should be always at his lotus feet. I've been trying. I used to pray always. What had happened? Swami had taken us to Ooty. We came back. As Hirok said, I used to clean Swami's mandir. That time the tribe Brindavan had come. So I used to clean that. Swami normally used to come down by 4:30. At about 3 o'clock, he'll go 3 to 3:30. He'll be going to his dining hall. So we'll have a darshan when he goes there. Then 1 hour gap is there. So we'll come and stand outside. No one will be around because boys will start coming slowly at 4:30. So I used to finish my work, everything at 2:30. So that particular day, I finished everything at 2:30, and then thinking, anyhow, Swami is going to come only at 3:15. We will come inside at 3. So I was standing near a Krishna statue, which is just opposite to Swami's bungalow, not the old bungalow, Trai Brindavan. So I was just praying. Suddenly, I heard Swami was, "Hey," he said. I turned and then I saw Swami standing. Only 2 of us were there. So I ran from that place. It was about 30, 40 steps. I ran. He said, "Chesko." I took a namaskar. Then he told me, "What do you want?" "Him kavali." Then the thought that was there very predominantly in the mind, "Swami, please keep me always at your lotus feet." That's what I told Swami. His face became slightly sort of pathetic. As if, see, you ask somebody, you are not in a position to give. And that too, you are known for giving all the boons to all the people. That type of thing he said. What do you want me to do? Karma, bad karma. He said, very bad karma. You have to leave. You have to go other way. Not only that, you will go outside and then suffer like a dog. This is the word he told in Telugu. That's what I lost huge amount of money. I told him I sold my wife's Mangalasutra, all those things. But I was quite free with Swami at that time. And then said, "Swami, now if I ask for a boon, if you don't give, it's your wish. But having asked what I wanted, you are supposed to give me the boon. You only asked. I didn't ask for a boon. Aim kavali cheppu. What do you want? That's what you asked. I have asked you. You have to give me no other. You are karma dhamsan. You can do anything. Bad karma, bad karma. That's what he was telling. So I said, see, I don't know all those things. You have asked, and I have a right to demand. Because having told that I'll grant you, if you don't grant, it is your problem, not my problem. That's what I said. Again, his face, no, what do you want me to do? I said, nothing to solve. You have to grant me this. Then he became slightly, no, I won't say normal. He came to our frame and said, this is the word that he said. Oh, I'll take care. He said, I took namaskar and then came back. But I had to leave this physical presence 3 years on my own account. I went out. The very fact that I had come back to Parthi about 12 or 13 years before he could leave his body, nothing but exceptional grace of him. He said, very casual word that brought me back to Parthi. And from that day, I could have his darshan for the 10 years. Originally, my plan was at the age of 60, I'll come, because Swami told 96, 58 years. Each and every word is significant word. When he said 96, no one knew that it is according to the Hindu calendar. Or even if it is not so, our bhakti should be like Arjuna when Krishna told him it's a parrot. Yes, it is a parrot. It is an eagle. It is an eagle. Whatever he said, that is right. That is 96. So each and every second of our life, he is the one who is controlling. As I said, I was in financial doldrum. When I came back here at Parthi, my second son, after this incident, we all came to Parthi. I resigned my job, but still my debts were high. I never had much money. Each and every time, whenever it is about to get short, some money I used to have, some 20, 30,000 rupees. 2 or 3 months it will go. 1 week prior to that, I'll just write a letter to Swami. Swami, financial position very weak. Sometimes he may take the letter, sometimes he may not take the letter. But invariably, next day, normally the working of a multinational organization is such that in the month of March 31st, according to Indian thing, or December 31st, whatever accounts that to be settled should be settled. There will not be any spillover. If you are supposed to get money, you are supposed to collect. But in my case, for 3 or 4 or 5 years, whenever I used to write a letter, whether he takes it or not, somebody in some way will send 20,000, 30,000. So another few months can be stretched. It went on like that. It went on like that. And still my PF came. That also Swami only arranged. Because of various mergers, our PF amount didn't come. No one knew when it was going to come. That also Swami's miracle only. I met Mr. Ratnakar on the road once. I know him from his childhood, because whenever they used to come to Brindavan, it was my great good fortune to serve them. So he said, "Why are you not coming home?" I went to his house, and then he asked, "Do you have any problem?" I said, "My PF has not come." Incidentally, see, the timing, everything was done by Swami. His father-in-law was the chief of PF. Wednesday, I told that my PF amount had not come. He sent our PF number. By Friday, my PF amount also had come. Some sort of stability Swami gave. And he was the one continuously for 4 or 5 years sending money from unknown. Some friend of mine will tell, "See, I have borrowed about 20,000 rupees from you, 30,000 rupees from you, which I could not give. I wanted to send that, please don't mistake." That fellow would have vanished totally. Suddenly he calls. I don't know how he knew that I'm in Parthi, how the contact was developed, all these things. So he sees everything, each and every second of your life. He's the one who's making it run smoothly. There will be hurdles. Unless and hurdles, until hurdles are there is, Swami always says, pleasure is the interval between two pains. That pain is given so that we will become more stronger. Of course, I'm not telling that I've become a very strong person, but we are all marching towards that. If not today, tomorrow. If not tomorrow, day after tomorrow, surely we'll realize all that, and we'll surely know that we are one with it. Do you have more time, or should I finish with this? Because I've not seen the timing.
We have time to hear you, so we are we are fine. Continue.
How long? For how long? Because I just want to talk about two.
Go ahead. You finish what is coming to your mind. We are there today. This is your time. You finish what comes to your mind.
Okay. Lilita, you have to tell me the time, because 7:50. What is the time? Just seeing. I think I'll add one more incident relating to my second brother, the same Shivaji Ganeshan person whose house I was there. They all came to Patti along with my father, and invariably, his good luck, his great good fortune, more than luck and fortune, it is Swami's Abhyaja Karunamurti aspect. You know what is that Abhyaja Karunamurti? He doesn't see any reason to it, but his grace and love. No reason for love, no season for love. His love is such that because of your good karma, I am blessing you, not like this. In fact, one of the devotee, one close devotee of Bhagawan, while doing Pada Seva, he was telling Swami, I believe, Swami, I don't know what good fortune, what good things that I have done in my previous birth that I am getting a chance. Swami beautifully told him, I believe, sir, the moment you had my first darshan, all the good karmas, the fruits of all the good karmas are over. Now it is my grace that is flowing to you. That's what I believe Swami had told, which is very true. You can see, in the olden time, when the rishis used to do a lot of tapas for 1,000 years, because the time period is different, 1,000 years, when they do tapas, the Lord comes, Bhakta, what do you want? He grants darshan and he disappears immediately. That's all. You can't see, you can't play with the Lord continuously. As I said in Brindavan, almost 12 to 14 hours we used to be with the Lord. So the fraction of the second when we had his first darshan, everything is over. And he, I believe, told that particular devotee It is my grace, my love. That is the Abhyasa Karunamurti. Abhyasa Karunamurti means Karanam Paramal Karunai Puriyum Kadavul. He doesn't see any reason to shower his compassion and grace. That is Swami for us. He is the one who's like that. So coming back to the story, my brothers, the second brother, along with his wife, my father, mother, all of them had come to Patti. Unfortunately, I had a college that day morning. Swami had taken them inside for an interview. Then he asked my second brother, who by profession was an engineer. He was working for Part-2, the sister concern of Lawson and Tubro. All engineering, he was making the balls, those type of things connected to engineering. So Swami asked him, what is the work that you are doing? He said, Swami, I am an engineer, Swami. Then Swami smiling, he said, no, you are not engineer, you are auditor. My second brother also had a lot of qualities, my father. Even if Bhagawan says, he won't agree immediately. So he said, no, Swami, I am engineer working for Otco. I'm making walls, I'm making this, I'm making that. Hey, you are an auditor. You are not an engineer. I know. It went on for a few things and Swami got annoyed. You know or I know? This fellow didn't know what to tell. By the time, no, so much of experience made him, whatever Swami says. He might have remembered this Arjuna story, the conversation with Krishna. He said, Swami only knows Swami. Yeah, good boy. You are auditor, not an engineer. That's right. So he goes back after the trip, he goes back to the Chennai. He was not aware that he's not going to get any promotion, something like that all. So when they open the door of the house, they see a letter from Lawson, that Otco walls. Name is B. Suresh Kumar. That's what had been written there. So he goes, he picks the letter, opens. Date of thing when they had interviewed Swami, the same date. The letter was there. With only one statement. We are happy to inform you that you have been promoted as product auditor. You have been promoted. It's again an engineering technical word only, product. He has to audit the product. So Swami 2 days before, well before he could know that he's the he's being promoted. No, you are auditor, you are not an engineer. Because they have never said you are audit engineer. Product auditor. There is no word with engineering there coming. So Swami wanted to show that he knows everything, each and every aspect of thing that he knows. That's what Swami proves to you. You have been promoted as product auditor. And what else you can do? You can enjoy the bliss. So these are all the few things that had happened. Whatever is in my memory, I have told you. Now, I just want to talk about two great devotees of Swami. See, there is a story which Swami himself had told many times. Who's the greatest person in the universe? That's what Narada goes and asks Lord Vishnu. And no various options are given. There's starting from rat to so many things it goes. And ultimately, Narada comes to a realization that God is the supreme. He is the supreme. So he tells the Lord Vishnu, because Swami Mahavishnu was saying, no, not this, not this. He'll propose one thing, no. So Narada gets a realization that ultimately is he who's the more powerful. So he tells Lord Vishnu, Lord, now I know the answer. You cannot say no. Tell me, Narada, tell me what's the answer. You are the one, Lord. You are the mightiest. You are the most wonderful thing to happen. He's the one who's making everything happen. But no, Narada was in full josh. So he started telling all that. Again, Swami, I think if I imagine myself asking Swami, no, Adhikadu, he would have said so beautifully. Then what, Swami? You are the ultimate. No. You know, in spite of me being ultimate, the true bhakta always keeps me imprisoned in his heart. So my true bhakta is the greatest person. That's what Lord Vishnu says. That is humility again. Now, you have seen humility with Swami so much, you know, I think we can take that as granted. I think Vishnu also would have said, because he is Lord Vishnu himself. That's how Swami proved to Narada that his devotees are the greatest. Why devotees are greatest? I don't want to talk philosophy because nobody will like. Because as a student, whenever people used to come and talk about philosophy, Sutti we used to say. In the Sutti, you keep on hammering, the hammer. So I don't want to talk about philosophy. Even today, I'm allergic to philosophy. But I don't want to go any full loss. That's what Swami used to say. So don't learn anything. The more you listen to philosophy, more confused you will become. Instead of that have love, talk to him, enjoy yourself with Swami. I think that is the best sadhana, according to me. It's not that the other people, those who are good yogis and who follow all the religion, I'm not against that. It is not suitable for me. Because I'll tell you one wonderful, before going to the great devotee story, one nice incident that had happened between two nice incidents, I'll tell you. I think both are flashing in my mind. How Swami was very close to the boys. That's what I wanted to tell. It's a usual practice that Swami used to give all that Veda Pushta Saptaha Jnana Yajna during Dasara time. Swami used to give speech, and when he comes back to the interview room, with few of us who are sitting, standing there, we will discuss about Swami's talk. Then we'll tell Swami, this point was very nice, this we didn't understand, that, this, all that we used to tell Swami. And Swami will lovingly, in spite of talking, that time all discourse used to be for 2 hours, 1 hour, 15 minutes for Swami and another 45 minutes for translation, but still, that energy, divine energy, he'll be always very enthusiastic to talk about good things to his students. So when he comes inside, we'll have another 1 hour going like that. Then he'll go for dinner, then he'll go. One day, normal time of discourse used to be 2 hours. That day, Swami spoke to 3 hours. And that too, he started speaking about this Kundalini, this, that, all that. Not even one word we could understand. Literally, we were praying, Swami, please finish your talk. We want to see your physical form. 3 hours. Some Ila, Pingala, that, this, that, Muladhara, Swadhisthana, all this highly philosophical bounces. So when Swami came inside, he saw my face and said, hey, speech at Undira, he said. How was my speech? He said. I said, Swami bounces on. Came at some college. See, slow. 3 hours continuously was talking. And he is getting a feedback, Swami, I didn't understand him. What did Swami tell you? This is not for you. Don't worry. This is not for you. There are some people who want to know about all these things. So for their sake, I have given. It is not meant for you. By God, relief. Because, see, you feel guilty, Swami is giving 3 hours speech and you are telling Swami, please finish. You really feel guilty. So, this love is so much. 3 hours I have been shouting, you fellow, you say you don't understand. What is this? At least you would have put it more politely. Bhagwan, at least you can tell on his face. But how can we tell? We cannot be hypocrites in front of him. No, it's slow evaluation. Because initially so many things, no. When you do a mistake also, then slowly you go higher, So that time it was good. So I told Swami bounces for me. So loving, it is not meant for you. Luckily that day we didn't discuss about the talk. Because all the fellows are that's like me, only those who are there. But for 1 or 2 maybe, or they were pretending to be there. So we wouldn't have understand. Uniformly, we wouldn't have understood. All boys, So I know about our friends. Philosophy means we all form a group and then philosophy nowhere near. That's what we used to say. So that is, and how loving he is. Even small, whether it is, I don't know how we had so much of guts to talk to Swami, but I think it is because of the love what we had for Swami. Invariably, Swami used to finish his bhajan with bhajan, Binda Sukha Shanti Nahi. After Swami started singing, that used to be the bhajan always Swami used to sing. And most of us would have heard Swami singing the old bhajan. It used to be so wonderful. And no, each and every time Bhajan Abhina, at least I would have heard Bhajan Abhina for 120 times after that. So a great urge was there that I wanted to hear Swami singing all old bhajans. Swami was about to give a talk to the college. So he came down, I was standing, we used to do that room duty, it was called. That is, if anybody wants to give letter or anything to be communicated, they'll tell us. And Swami, if Swami wanted to communicate anything to some devotee, Swami, it will go through us. So I was alone. Swami came down. I had a Swami. I said, hey me, what? Bhajana Bina bore put. See, we don't know how to see. You're talking to the Lord, but we don't know how to frame the statement all the things. Bhajana Bina bore putundi Swami. Bore putundi Swami. Pata pata padali. Then he said, "Aye." He said like that. He didn't tell anything. Chase for he said. Went. After the bhajans were over, hey, Siva Shankara, Damami Shankara, Siva Shankara, Shampoo, and other 7 old songs, all old songs, Govinda, Gopala, Nanda Kumara, Navanita Choda, all that. 7 songs he sang. I was very happy that Swami heard my prayer. Then the 8th bhajan was Bhajana Bina Sukha Shanti Daki. That also he didn't leave. He sang all that. Then before Swami could come, we normally used to run because we I was not blessed to sit with Swami's in Swami's car and then come, but for one occasion when he was to Ooty. So he came, Isa, happy, yeah. Yeah. See, for the Lord of the universe, it is not, not at all thing. He would have blasted me. Hey, whatever I want to think, only I think, what you follow? You have, how dare are you to ask me all those things? He's love. That is the reason why we could ask him. It is not because with intention that football going beyond the limit of the ground. That's all. So this is one of nice. And one more fun which comes to my mind that also I tell you, Swami, always be full of fun, especially when he's in Buddha. We had Swami, one of Swami's devotee had given a clock. It is a sound sensitive clock. So if you ask what is time or make some noise, the light will come. There is one Dr. Narsappa. He is a well-renowned surgeon, physician. He was dean of Victoria Hospital, if I'm correct, in Bangalore. And he had the good fortune of testing Swami's BP, all those things. When Swami had given him the chance, whenever Swami was in Brindavan. And normally he used to bring food weekly 2 or 3 times. And Swami used to call him for dinner also. This Narsappa, in spite of high profile, always used to be very humble, and he never used to speak loudly with Swami. He will keep his thing like that. And Swami tell, Gattiga matad. You speak loudly, then only Swami can hear also. Because in front of Swami, he'll never do that. For him, Swami is everything. Swami is divine supreme. So Swami called him up for the dinner. And Narsappa Nodu, he is a Kandiga person, Nodu, new clock bandidu. So new clock has come. You know what is the specialty? It has come from America. You ask time, it will tell you time. That's what Swami told him. It was quite new to India at the time. So as I told him, he was a very humble man who will not shout. So he said, time Vishnu, time Vishnu. The sound was not that effective to. Sorry, one call had come. Can you hear me? Yeah. So that was not sensitive that to show the time. Then Swami turned to him and they said, Narsappa, you are a big doctor. You are a well-known doctor. You are a great surgeon. But you don't have common sense at all, Narsappa. Swami. See, what did he tell you? This is a clock from America. And you are asking time in Canada. Will that American clock understand Canada? You have brains. See, what's time? Swami said, immediately the time. Time shows. See, I told you, you should have brains. Being a doctor, what is the use? Believe me, the doctor will believe it because whatever Swami says, he'll believe. He's a
voice is getting cut.
Call, so it automatically cuts. We'll give him a few seconds.
So this no Swami used to play. Then Swami, he told him, see, it's a sound sensitive. So beautiful, Lord, talking to a doctor, and the way in which he told. Again, we'll go back to the thing. I'll try to, because time is 6:40. I have a meeting at 7:50. 7 o'clock, if I close, will it be fine?
Perfect.
By
perfect,
7, if I close, will it be
perfect,
okay.
Sir. Perfect.
Yeah, I'll narrate 2 incidents. I think I'll run through. As I said, the devotees are the greatest, as told by Swami. I'm just going to talk about 2 devotees here, with whom I had very close association. Both are very great devotees. Both of them were with me in Brindavan. One is Mr. Radha Krishna, who was a student and who served Swami, sort of a personal assistant to Swami, that keeping everything ready for Swami. And his love for Swami is something immense. If I were to ask a question, whom do you love more? Some people will say that they love their mothers, they love their father. Some of us may say we love Swami. But if we analyze and then ask, is the statement true? In my opinion, there are so many people who love Swami. I don't have any thing. Swami is everything for them. But in my opinion, we all love ourselves much more than anybody, including God. That's what I personally feel. I may be wrong totally. But what made me think this is because of the following incident. One new car was donated to Swami. It was given by a devotee to Swami. And Swami becomes a child. when he had seen the car, and Radha Krishna used to drive Swami's car. So it's a yellow color Toyota, I remember. It came to Brindavan at about 4:45, something like that. So Swami became, no, he pretends as if he's excited. Hey, Radha Krishna, car ochindi, kotta car ochindi, oka ride potam, ra. He was asking Radha Krishna to come down so that they can go for a ride. And before Swami could keep his leg, one boy out of his enthusiasm closed, I won't say closed, banged the back door. And the only expression, actually it had hit the kakal part of Swami's leg, the two mungus, I don't know the exact word of that in English. So literally a force hit on his thing. So he actually, then he smiled, Dunapata, then he went off. He didn't tell anything. Actually, there was a hairline fracture because of the force with which the door was closed. Swami went, he came back. Normally, we used to have an evening bhajan in Mandir, old bungalow. He said, today, no need of bhajan, you give me aarti. Then he went up, and doctor was called. They said it is hairline fracture with the condition that Swami should not move for 10-15 days unless it heals, because it's in the most sensitive part of the leg. The foot, the feet, just the two joints that connects the leg to the feet. You can see the two bulge. I don't know what, maybe kakal, I don't know what it is. We'll call it as kakal. It was in his right leg. Then doctor had put that bandage, plaster, all that. All these things happened when Swami was sitting in his training hall. The doctor did his duty and then he went off. And then, darshan. Swami, he always likes to give darshan all. He didn't tell anything. At about 7:45, 8, he was normal. He started walking back from his dining hall to the bedroom. It will be about 70 to 80 steps. And there were 3 steps you have to climb to go to his dining hall. Similarly, about another 4 steps you have to go to his bedroom. And there is a huge veranda that used to be the bungalow. So when Swami was coming down, the pain had started. He was slightly, he was feeling the pain, but he was joking casually because for him, what body, nothing, no conscious. But the pain was there. Because Swami never used anything for his own body. So he was taking 2, 3, 4 steps. We were all very sorry. Even I was fortunate enough to be there at that time. And we could not do anything. We could see the pain in Swami's face. Radha Krishna also was walking along with Swami. 2, 3 steps only. He just could not bear the pain that was in Swami's face. He just went, lifted Swami. Believe me, lifting avatar. See, Swami is just like a fire. You cannot take any liberty with him. So lifting Swami. Swami was feeling shy because nobody had lifted him. He had only lifted all our burden. He just lifted him. Vadalra, leave me, Swami. He never bothered. He took Swami, then put him in the bed. Quite a few of us were there. Nobody thought that we should lift Swami. We were suffering because of Swami's suffering. We are feeling the pain. I won't say we are suffering. We are feeling the pain. But here, if the thought would have come to my mind that I should lift Swami, all other thoughts that would have come to my mind is, you cannot predict anything about Swami. If I lift him, he may slap me, he may chase me out of his physical. So now tell me whether I love myself or I love Swami. I was not bothered about any, Radha Krishna was not bothered about any consequence that might happen after lifting Swami. Whereas 8 or 7 of us who were there, we were worried, in case if I do something like that, I'll be checked out. Swami will not love. Here is Radha Krishna, whether you like or not, Lord, I am least bothered. You send me out, no problem. I love you. I can't see your pain. Am I not correct when I say that I love myself more than Swami? I can tell philosophically, I am also God, Sai is residing in me, so I love myself. All these things are full of philosophy. Here is Radha Krishna, who lifted Swami so beautifully. I pronounced to such a great devotee, who was never bothered about himself. It was only the Lord's comfort. Throughout his life, he had only done that. One of the greatest gem, Radha Krishna is such a great devotee. I'll narrate about one more incident. Another great devotee, Rama Brahman Garu, who was the caretaker of Swami's Brindavan ashram. Then I'll conclude. we get a chance, we'll talk more about Swami in some other times after all our alumni talk. This Ram Brahman is such a great devotee. The first namaskar, whenever Swami is in Brindavan, will be taken by him. First namaskar he will take. He'll have breakfast, lunch, dinner with Swami. One more great opportunity, which only exclusive for Ram Brahman was when Swami retires in the night. Ram Brahman was incidentally 25 years older than Swami. When Swami was 50, he was 75. Big man. Believe me, illiterate. He can't speak English. Illiterate with respect to English. Telugu all he can write and read. Pakka villager, but full of devotion. Double my size, 75 years. And the work what he had done at the age of 75, 30-year boy cannot do now. That is the amount of work. Swami Seva, that is everything for him. He'll do everything for Swami. And all matters pertaining to anything related to ashram was done by Rama Brahman. Swami will call him and then the work will be done. During those times, it happened in 1978, something like that. We never had this cell phone. When Swami Puttaparthi and he used to come to Brindavan, there's no way of knowing, because if you book a trunk call, by the time you get the trunk call, Swami would have come to Brindavan. That day night, it might come. A very bad postal department that time. So we'll never know when Swami will come to Brindavan. And this Radha Krishna, he used to be the driver. When he comes near our college or hostel, he'll give horn in such a way that we know that is Swami's car. We'll all run from college and then come for Swami's darshan. That is the only communication. That is when Swami reaches Brindavan only, we'll come to know that Swami has come to Brindavan. It was a Sunday. Ram Brahman was in the fields because we had Gokulam, fodder for all the cows used to come from Swami's field. So he was taking care of that. Swami suddenly came. He went upstairs. That time, it was Sri Sathya Sai Art, Science and Commerce College. So what happened? When once you finish your graduation, few boys are selected by Swami himself. They'll continue to stay in the hostel, but go to Bangalore for their further studies, like MSc, MCom, like that. Only some 7-8 boys were permitted to do that. So daily morning, they'll go to Bangalore College, come back to our hostel, they'll stay there. And these 7-8 boys, Swami have graciously permitted them to sleep in the upstairs veranda. I told you, the first floor, Swami's residence, from dining hall to bedroom, there's a huge veranda. So these boys are permitted to sleep. They'll come and sleep there in the night after Swami retires. When Swami is not there physically, they'll come a bit early, sleep. Sundays, because daily they have to go to that time. Going to Bangalore itself will take about 1.5 hours. So they have to start at 7:30. By the time they come, it will be 8 or 8:15. They'll try to rush so that they can have a glimpse. Sometimes Swami will call them up. Invariably, Swami will call them up so that they can have Swami's darshan. Before going, they'll take a hour. That is the love what Swami shared on all these boys. So it was a Sunday, quite hot that day during summer. They were all sleeping there. Swami had come suddenly. We were not aware that Swami was coming to Brindavan. Swami had come suddenly. And Ram Brahman was in the field. Swami went up. I was actually cleaning the roads, so I didn't have time to go and beg those people also. Swami went up. Yes, it was a surprise for me also. Swami, they said, opened. Swami came inside. So Swami went up. He saw these boys sleeping nicely. Swami woke them up, gave them namaskar, gave them prasadam, all that. Ram Brahman having come to the Swami has come to Brindavan, he rushed. When he was about to take the first step, Swami sent word telling that asked Ram Brahman not to come. From form to out of form. Ram Brahman didn't know what mistake he had done. But when Swami says you cannot come up, you cannot go. So he was standing outside, he didn't know what to do. Evening, Swami came down, literally blasted Ram Brahman. See, do you think that it is a mandir or lodge? I asked you to look after Swami's thing. Here, 8 or 9 boys were sleeping. Do you think that in mandir they can sleep like that in the afternoon? Don't you have any control? Don't you tell them? There, Swami gave them namaskar. Swami spoke to them nicely. Swami gave them whatever eatables that they had got in the sar, he had given to them, spoke to them nicely. Here, Ram Brahman was getting. Ram Brahman didn't permit them to sleep there. The Swami who told them that you can sleep there. 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, whenever Swami used to see Ram Brahman, he keeps such a face, so as if he is irritated to the core and he wanted to see Ram Brahman's face. It went on like this. All the boys who were the cause for this agony of Ram Brahman came and apologized to Ram Brahman. He said, he's such a great soul. He said, no, no, no. It's not your mistake. Swami has given permission for you to stay. Buried it some purpose so you don't feel bad. That is the way he consoled the boys. It went on for quite a few days. A person who gets first darshan and a person who goes to Swami's bedroom, do Pal Seva, they talk for half an hour or 45 minutes. After taking Namaskar, he comes out, 75-year-old child when Swami was 50 years, 23 years there. It went on for a couple of days more. Ram Brahman just could not bear. You can imagine, a person who spends almost all the time, breakfast, lunch, dinner with Swami, continuously spend the time when Swami goes for darshan and the time when Swami gives him some work to do outside. Other than that, continuously staying with Swami, and a person who always stayed with Swami both in upstairs and downstairs. Swami had given him a room. Same building he used to stay along with his wife. Swami used to be in the first floor. This house was in the ground floor. Only 2-floor house. The ground floor, there was a room for him. So that person who had, and he was the only person, whenever he goes to Parthi also, he can go directly inside. He'll get all these chances. Normally, the people, those who are in Parthi, when they come to Brindavan, they have to take permission and then go. Whereas in the case of Ram Brahman, it is not like direct entry only. Such a person being neglected, and whenever Swami sees him, such a look. I won't say bad look because whatever God gives, it's a good look only. But love, look without a love, and as if you have failed me, that type of look when Swami was giving notice. He always says, Swami says, my heart is as soft as butter, my heart is as hard as diamond. And the diamond aspect comes, it is really horrible. We have all experienced. Most of the boys would have. It went on for 10 days or 11 days. A day has come when Ram Brahman just could not bear this agony. So he sends word to Swami through one of the lecturers, who was also permitted to go. Tell Swami I am pushing off. I cannot stay with Swami. It is horrible. He was continuously praying, but nothing is happening. And it is not my mistake also. Tell Swami I am going. I'll go to my native town. There I live with my Swami, who will be always joyful, who will always listen to my prayer, who will always play with me. This physical form I don't want. Tell Swami. So this lecturer goes up and then Swami Ram Brahman is telling like this. There was a twinkle in Swami's eyes. He looked at all of us, those who were there. I was standing in a place where I can hear both this conversation. The conversation that is that is our place normally. Staircase, the last step. So we can see Swami, we can also see what is happening down. So, Swami is telling like this. That's what the lecturer told Swami. So there was a twinkle in his eyes. He was looking at all of us. Like Raman Chippu. Ask him to come back. The lecturer goes down. Swami wants you to come back. That's what he says to Ram. Ram looks at him like this and says, ask Swami whether I can come always upstairs. It is not that now I am praying. It's not that I am going, so he is calling me and giving namaskar. If he is ready to accept that I can come always upstairs daily, I will come. Otherwise, I am packing off. You tell Swami. So the lecturer goes up and then tells Swami, this is what he is telling. Okay, tell him that he can always come up. So, no, that time you should see the face of Bhagawan, full of devotion, agony. No, if you touch a bubble, it will burst. Not like that. If you touch his face like this, water will flow. That much, that it was praying. 75-year-old kid praying for the God, craving for the God. So the lecturer comes down and that tells Ram Brahman, yes, daily Ravuch. Swami Tadugu, daily regular Swami the Bonche Ocha Kanuko. It is not only coming up. He wanted to get back all the things that he had lost these 15 days. So this man goes up and then tells Swami, he's asking whether he can have food with you always. Yes, tell him. Like that 4 or 5 times, each and every small things. Can I take care of Swami's thing like this, that? Can I go to the bedroom and then press his feet when he retires? Can I talk to him? Will he talk to me? All those things went on and on for 5 steps. Otherwise, they don't tell him. Each and every time when the lecturer was telling you, there was a joy in Swami's face. Wonderful joy. See, he wanted to show all of us what devotion is. Then Swami went to an extent at one particular point, said, see, whatever he wants, let him do all that. I have given a blanket permission. Whatever he wants, let him do, let him come up now. Ram Brahma was claiming that there were 18 steps with panting, full of, as he said, you just trust, water will burst from his side. He came, as soon as he saw Swami, he broke down completely, got over very hefty. So far, till that day, quite a few times, boys have got scolding from Swami that I have seen. Here, a great devotee is literally giving back to the Lord. Those people who can understand Telugu, because some of the things play regular. Swami, how can you do this like this for me? What you have done is wrong, Swami. You have done wrong. Did I give permission for the boys to sleep? I didn't give. You say you are 1,000 mothers. Is this the way to treat your child like this? Are you 1,000 mother? You are not 1,000 mother. When you have given permission for the boys to sleep, how can I tell them that they should not sleep? Even if they sleep, what is wrong with that? They are your children. Where will they sleep? He was not blaming the boys there. He was blaming the Lord for all the things. And crying. His voice used to be a very booming voice always. And tears of bhakti. One of the most glorious days in my life. He was crying like anything. Panting, talking. He actually had high blood pressure, high sugar level. Got hold of Swami and then started crying. The only word from the Lord of the universe, Atlakadram. No, not like this, not. Then a point came and Swami just could not bear. We were all on tears, all the people, those who were around. Glorious moment of the life. He used to wear a shirt, a kurta, something later, and banyan. Yes, Swami pulled both the shirt and the. You all seen Swami creating things like this. He created Vibhuti like this. So much. Started rubbing on his back. And then told all the people. And told Ram Brahman, Swami, aim cheste me manchi kosam me chesta. See, there are quite a few incidents that would have happened in life, those who are physically close to Swami. You will not really understand the meaning till the end. It may be totally illogical from in the world's view, I am telling. But each and everything is a test for you. And it is ultimately one day you will realize that even that incident was good for you. But maybe a momentary pain will be there, why Swami should do like this. Those type of thoughts will come. But as I said, no, ultimately one day we will realize why it is. So Swami just created the Vibhuti, applied Atlakada Rampumu, Anni Swami me manchikus Mikesna. That day, it is not only all the people, those who were around, tears were there in eyes, but tears were there in the eyes of the Lord of the universe, who melts as soft as butter. He had shown the aspect of diamond. Even till this day, we really do not know what is the reason why Ram Brahma should get it. We don't know. Swami would have shown him in some other way. Because it is not his mistake. Swami has given permission for some people to sleep. They were sleeping. His own student. Just imagine. There were tears in the eyes of the Lord. And he was looking at all of them. See, this is what devotion means. This is the sign of a great devotee. Ram Brahma Garu, in his house, because it was in Mandir only, normally we keep Swami's photograph in the wall. He'll keep it entire wall and also on the ceiling, Swami's photographs will be there. And once we asked, he said, see, death might come to me any moment, because I said, no, you were 75 to 80 years that time only. So, if there are no photographs on the top, if I'm lying down, if I die, I will not have Swami's darshan. So I wanted to have his darshan. That is the greatness of Ram Brahma. In fact, his wife also had a booming voice. Swami jokingly once said, see, your wife is talking too much. I'm not able to sleep in the afternoon. Next 4-5 days, there was no noise. So Swami said, hey, what happened to your wife? Swami, you said that she is disturbing you. So I went and left her with my relatives. She'll not come back, don't worry. See the amount of devotion. With one more incident from Ram Brahma, I think I'll close it. Swami was going to Uti. As I said, Ram Brahma was high diabetic and suffering from high blood pressure also. During that period, it was very bad, quite bad. So Swami told me that I should take care of it. He said, see, 4 days only I'm going to Uti. I'll come back. So these 4 days you take care of him. Night, normally the people with high diabetic. They tend to go to the restroom quite often. So Swami said, see, old man, you have to take him, then again make him lie down. There were two rooms. One room is called safe room, about which I have spoken to you last time. Adjacent one more room. So Ram Brahma used to sleep there. Small rooms. So I used to sleep in safe room. He'll tell bye. Then I'll immediately get up, go, take him to the restroom, bring him back, clean the toilet, come back, lie down. 4 or 5 times night it will happen. 1 day, 2 days, nothing happened. He used to call me, I used to take him. Third day he had called me 2, 3 times. I have taken him. The fourth time or the third time when he called, I was sleeping blissfully. I didn't hear. But the urge to go to the restroom was very high. No, he had the great urge. So he got up because of his health condition. He was about to fall. Physically, Swami was in Uti. When he was about to fall, Swami appeared there, took him to the toilet, brought him back, made him lie down, went and cleaned the toilet. They were talking for half an hour. I was snoring blissfully in the next room. Hardly about 15, 20 steps. I was sleeping. That's all. Next day morning, we got up. He said, hey, I called you, you didn't come. Then Swami came, he took me to the bathroom. He washed out the bathroom. Only we two are there in Mandir, because normally when Swami is not there, nobody will come inside the Mandir. Only we two, food used to come from hostel, that fellow will keep the carrier out and then go, we used to take and then have. So there is literally, no one can communicate, we cannot communicate what has happened to anybody outside unless and until I wanted to communicate. Maya, full of Maya, no Swami. I said, okay, 75, because I was very confident that even a small sound I'll get up. 3 times over, the 4th time, Tatagaru is just telling like this. That's what I thought. I said, okay, 75 years, hallucination. He might have thought Swami had come and Swami had cleaned the toilet. That's what I thought. But I can't tell him, oh, Atlana, happy. That's all. No, pretend that you believed all those things, that type of show. And the 4th day went, the 4th day Swami came back. As soon as we opened the door, we normally give Aarti to Swami, then Swami goes up. I used to ring a bell that time. So next to Aarti person, I used to stand always. Straight he came to me, then the bathroom. This is the word he said. He said, you made me wash toilet. He didn't tell any other thing, he went up. And only it struck me. What I thought, what a fool I was. He went inside, saw Ram Brahman. Ram Brahman could not come outside because it was pretty bad. No, when he was walking also, he was about to fall out. Then we three were there. Swami just looked at me. He was thanking Swami for coming and saving him. Went. Then only the realization had come. Little 10 steps away from Swami. Swami was talking to him for a long time. Worse than that, I made Swami clean down. For his devotee's sake, he will do anything and everything. He'll do everything. There are few glorious moments, as I said, Radha Krishna lifting Swami was a glorious day in my life. First day talking with Swami for 1.5 hour Telugu, that is glorious day. The third day when I told him that I doubt him, passing my hair and then telling, don't worry, this also will come. How many glorious days he has given. In spite of that, I was not grateful, I left. But for that also, no, maybe he prepared me telling that if this thing wouldn't have happened, I would have suffered much more. But the very fact that he said, that prapta would not have been there for loving called me back. Everything happened because of a spell. And from cardboard, just tell something to him anywhere. He will always, because everywhere he is there. So even when you are lying down or when you are walking, anytime, whatever you want to communicate, Swami, this is what is happening. This, that. I think I'm also trying for that. Continuously for us, we'll try to live with Swami. And always he says, you take one step, thousands of, sometimes he is very humble. He says 100 steps. It is 1 crore infinity steps that he'll take, he'll put. That is his grace, that is his love. He'll surely do it for us. And with the constant thought of him, which he should bless us to have, I think we'll march ahead. And one day really become Sathya Sai. Jai Sai Ram.
Sai Ram, Mallikeswaran. Mallikeswaran. Sai Ram.
சொல்லுங்க. Sai Ram.
Mallikeswaran, you moved us. You made us very emotional today. Too much. It was too heart-touching expression of your heart. You know, any amount of gratitude to Swami, and also thanks to you a lot for coming. We are going to have more and more sessions with you. Please come and address us. And that Kumar is Dr. Kumar Girija. That is the doctor you are talking. Yes.
Yes.
They are very close to me. They are very close to me. Girija and Kumar. So nice. Very happy to hear that.
Yeah,
I
he is
will
my first
tell
cousin.
Yeah. Because Girija was my bhajan student. Anyhow, that's a different thing. I wanted to thank you on behalf of all of us. And great to see Hira, Ravi Shankar brother, everyone in this satsang, and of course all our Singapore brothers, everyone. You are awesome, Mallikeswaran. That's all I can say.
I think, sir, when you talk about him, it comes automatically.
Yeah,
and I think we all
that's
should
it.
be thankful to him because he had blessed us.
And-
He had thought of me, I have spoken.
Yeah, and another thing, when you talked of experiences, this is common for lots of incidents, are common for many of the students. And we have always seen that Swami's hand at that right time. So I was just correlating, I'm sure Hirak must have correlated. I'm sure all the devotees also must have correlated their life with whatever is relating. And it was just awesome, beautiful. Thanks a lot, Mallikeswaran. Sai Ram, I'm so happy to be in your satsang.
I think we all
Thank you.
should thank him. That's all, nothing else.
Thank you.
Mallikeswaran.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Mallikeswaran.
Yeah.
Mallikeswaran.
Yes, sir. சொல்லுங்க சார்.
இன்ஃபேக்ட் எனக்கு வந்து ரொம்ப பிடிச்சது என்னன்னா
Ah.
you highlighted my two heroes all they were my heroes also.
கட்டாயம் சார், கட்டாயம். Great people.
Great,
Very great
great.
people.
Great, so nice. ஓகேப்பா பி உங்க நம்பர் அனுப்புங்க அப்புறம் எனக்கு.
கட்டாயம்.
Thank you Sairam, enjoyed it very much. You took me
Sairam.
back to all those days, you know.
Yes, sir.
2 hours எங்க போயிருக்கு,
Yes, sir.
எப்படி போச்சுன்னு தெரியல. So
Yes,
nice,
sir.
so nice. Thank you.
Sai Ram.
Sairam.
Sai Ram. Thank you.
Sairam.
Thank you so much. And now we'll finish with 3 Samastalokas instead of 21 because I know
21.
normally he's got to go somewhere in 5
Yeah,
minutes
yeah.
now. So we'll say 3, but let's seriously pray, thinking 3 multiplies by 7 to 21 because we need the Samastaloka today with the situation that's happening. Let's do the 3 Samastalokas with all the devotion. Sai Ram, looking forward to seeing you all next week. Thank you, Anna, for being with us today. Sai Ram. Samastaloka Sukhino Bhavantu Samastaloka Sukhino Bhavantu Samastaloka Sukhino Bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Jai Bolo Bhagwan Shri Sathya Sai Baba Ji ki Jai. Sai Ram, stay safe everyone. Praying to Swami that the week goes off well. Sai Ram, till next Sunday.